Getting married is a serious commitment. It is not a game. It is something that's going to affect your life and it's going to affect your partner's life. One of the most important decisions you're ever going to make in your life. It's a big deal. Marriage is something that brings people together. It brings families together. It brings everything together because as a married person, your life actually changes. So some things that you used to do, you're no longer going to be able to do them because now you have a partner, and so you guys are going to be in tuned together. That's how it should be. Together. Okay? All right. Now, before all of that can happen, some things need to get done, some foundation. So we're going to talk about things you should do before you get married. I'm Simone with Access My Life. Access My Life means you're strong, you're independent, you're a go-getter, you know your worth, so anyone can access your life. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And if you would like one of these shirts to show the world that you're an open book, check the description box. Okay, now let's get back to the video. Number one on the list is you need to have a career. What are you going to do when you get married? Stay home all day? Watch television? If you have kids, take care of the kids? Or are you going to be a professional where you actually have a job, you go out there and you work? If the answer is staying home with the kids and watching television, just being a homemaker, then you're good. You don't have to do anything except put that ring on your finger and you're done. But if you are going to pursue a career, or have a career rather, you need to do that before you get married. So decide, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a teacher. Whatever those things are, you need to set yourself in such a way that you're already pursuing those things before you get married, so that you go into the marriage with a clear picture as to who you are. Now, it can change while you're in the marriage, but at least you know what you're bringing to the table in your marriage. With a career, you already know what you're about. If you're a doctor, you're going out taking care of your patients. You may have your own medical practice, doing your thing, or you may work for a facility, and that's fine. Your partner already knows what you're about, what your life is comprised of. A doctor is usually a busy person working 9 to 5 and some, depending on where in the medical field you are. If you're an emergency room doctor, you may be on call. If you have a regular practice, you know you go 9 to 5 and you're home and that's it. You don't have to worry about anything. If you're a lawyer, you may have to go to court. And if you have those big cases, then you may have to stay up late at nights preparing for trial in the morning. Whatever the case is, you know what you're about, and your partner already has a picture as to who you are and what life with you will be like in terms of your career. If you're a home health aide where you take care of the elderly people, your partner knows what you're about. If you're a contractor, your partner knows what you're about. You guys are both going into the marriage with a clear picture as to who you guys are, but with room to change. Remember that. Next on the list is your finance, and this follows up with your career. Finances, very, very important in a relationship, especially in a marriage where two lives are merging together. You got to have your act together. You got to have your finances in order. It's very important because finances is one of the things that cause couples to separate, that cause marriages to break apart, because people just can't seem to get their finances together. So if you or your partner is a doctor, then you expect that your income is going to be on a higher scale. You're going to be able to afford certain things. You're going to be able to do certain things that the average person will not be able to do because their income is not that high. On the other hand, if you are a home health aide, then you know your income is not going to be that high. So automatically your partner will know what to expect from you. That your income is not that high, so they will have to be able to take care of majority of the expenses. As long as you guys have an understanding, then that's fine. That's okay. Everything is out there in the open. You know what to expect. Your partner knows what to expect from the relationship, because these are things that causes issues in the relationship later. So you want to come to the table with a clear understanding of what your financial picture looks like. School. Before you get married, try to finish your schooling, try to get your education, because marriage will detract you from that. You're going to be focused more on your partner instead of being focused on school. So try to get your education, get your degree, do everything that you can before you put a ring on it, because once you do, things change. If you're the woman in the relationship, then you're supposed to be tending to your husband's need. If you're the man in the relationship, you're supposed to be tending to your wife's needs and doing things that is going to foster the relationship, to build it and make it grow. And if you are going to school where you're going to be focused on your education and not being able to bring something to the table in terms of finances because you don't have a job, that is going to put a strain on the relationship. So get your schooling out of the way before you get in a marriage, because a marriage calls for your undivided attention. It calls for building that relationship, and a lot of times people end up dropping out of school because they have responsibilities, and you want to get that out the way so that life doesn't rob you of that opportunity to finish your education. The next thing you need to do before you get married is to think about where you're going to live. Do you already have a home where both of you are going to be sharing that space together? You don't have to worry about that as an additional expense. You move in together and you can start your life right then and there because your partner already has a place prepared. Or is it that both of you are living at home with parents? So now you know that once you move out of your parents' home, then automatically that additional expense is just going to come and hit you, where you never had to think about forking out money every month to pay for a place to live. So thinking of where you're going to live after you get married is very important, and making room in your finances for that additional expense is going to be very important. Where you live is going to be one of your biggest monthly expenses. So factor that in before you think about getting married. How are your finances going to fit into that budget to take care of paying for a mortgage, paying for rent? Because if you get married, you're not supposed to be living in your parents' home anymore. You guys are two individuals, right? So you should have your own place. So that is going to be one of your biggest expenses. So think about it. Just as how they say religion and politics are things you don't talk about in a social setting because it gets people heated, well, before you get married, you need to talk about it. Okay? Are you a Christian? Are you a Jew? Are you a Muslim? What are you? You need to talk about that with your partner and come to a full understanding as to what your religious needs are, what your partner's religious needs are. Can you accommodate their practice in your life, and can they accommodate yours in their life? Will you constantly have conflict, or will you guys, mesh and come together smoothly? Is your family going to accept your partner's religion, and is your partner's family going to accept your religion? Will they want you guys to convert? Are you going to be willing to give up what you know, what your family knows, their values and everything, to convert to something else? or you're going to stick to what you know and what you believe in? Will that be a conflict in the relationship? How are you going to work that out? How is religion going to affect your kids? If both of you do not practice the same religion, will your partner want the kids to be of their faith? Will you want the kids to be of your faith? What is that going to look like? You got to think about those things. They're very important because it affects you in years to come. And the last thing that we're going to talk about before you get married is having kids. The first question is, do you want kids? Does your partner want kids? If so, how many? Are you used to a household full of kids and so you want a whole bunch of kids to make the house feel merry and everybody running around and a lot of noise? Or are you thinking about just having 1 or 2 kids where at least you did your part to contribute to society and that's it, no more? Are you more in the tranquility kind of lifestyle where 1 kid or 2, but not a whole bunch running around? These are things that you guys need to talk about because your partner may want a lot of kids while you don't want a lot of kids. Or how about your partner wanting kids and you not wanting kids at all? How is that going to fare out? These are things you need to talk about before you get married. Don't go into the marriage thinking it's going to work out or thinking that you guys are on the same page when you really are not. A lot of times, these are things that are not talked about. For example, I never talked about kids before I got married, but I just automatically assumed and knew that that was part of things. But what you're realizing nowadays is with technology and with financing and with all these different factors coming into play, people are making decisions based on their lifestyle and based on their career. So now some people may choose not to have kids because if they do, it's going to affect them in their career. They won't be able to pursue this or they won't be able to pursue that because the kids are going to stop them. So you have to talk about whether you want kids or not before you get married because it will be a big factor. Can you imagine you being the person who wants a kid and you just don't feel fulfilled or complete without having a kid? And then your partner doesn't want to have a kid. What's going to happen? Instead of this happening, you're going to have that separation. The relationship is not going to work because your dream, your passion, that thing you want so much, you won't be able to get it. And even if you guys don't separate because you want kids and your partner want kids, it is still going to create some kind of a distance and some kind of a void. Because in the back of your mind, you're always going to want this thing, You're going to go out there and you see people with their kids, a husband and a wife and their kids, and in your mind you're thinking, wow, what a beautiful family. That's what I want for myself. That's what I would have wanted, but I can't have it. Because the partner you're with does not share that same dream with you. So these are things you need to think about before you get married. Very, very important. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Leave me a comment and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.